Hi, welcome back. I'm Sherry, I'm the Moonlight Crafter. In this video, we're going to use the black ice technique and the Ornate Garden Suite to make a beautiful, shabby chic card. Alright, so this is the card that we're going to be making today. And I'd never done the black ice technique before, so I was really excited to try this with the big flower bundle from the Ornate Style bundle. And this card, I feel like is perfect. I'm going to call it my quarantine card because it says, "The journey of life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together." And I feel like I want to make 100 of these cards and send them to everyone that I know that right now. This is a perfect quarantine card. But first, I want to talk about the Ornate Garden Suite and what all's included in that bundle. The Ornate Garden Suite has everything. So if you get the suite, you get everything. It has 2 bundles. A bundle is a stamp and a die set. So you're going to get the Ornate Thanks, and you're going to get the borders dies, Ornate Borders that goes with it. Then you would also get Ornate Style, which is what we're going to use today. And the dies that go with it are Ornate Layers dies. So those are your 2 bundles within the suite. And then you're also going to get the Ornate Floral 3D Embossing Folder, which has the little small repetitive flower pattern. And then when you get the suite, again, you get everything. You get the Gilded Gems, which we're going to use today. And then you would also get a pack of the 12 by 12 paper, the designer series paper. And there's a lot of foil papers in this package. So that's what all comes in the suite. For this card, I'm using a very vanilla card base. I feel like it gives a softness to it. And I would describe this card as shabby chic. There's papers that are folded up. There's inking. There's a lot of florally things going on with it. So I would describe this as a shabby chic card. So here's all the parts that you're going to need. Everything will be on my website, so you can go to www.themoonlightcrafter.com and I'll have all of the measurements for you there. But this is what you're going to have. Here's our card base. And then I've got another piece of Whisper White on top. Or I'm sorry, so used to using Whisper White. Very vanilla. Then there's a black. We're using our specialty gold foil paper, which we need for the black ice technique. And then a couple scraps of vanilla for our other pieces. And then you'll actually need a scrap of black for these flowers here. So I'm using another embossing folder. This is our Scripty 3D embossing folder. And it's got this really neat print. It's like a script, like somebody has just sat down with a pen and written in cursive really nice. It's really cute. So we're going to use that. And we're going to emboss this piece here. Now there is a line on here that you can line up your paper to make sure that you get it just right. And when you run that through your Big Shot or your die cutting machine, you'll get this lovely piece of paper here. And I don't know if you can see the script. It's very delicate, very shabby chic looking. And we're going to use that as the background on top of our card. Now I could have maybe just embossed just this card itself, but I'll show you why. I want to do some stuff to this page, which is why I made it separate. You can take an old knife or a bone folder, and we're just going to really work up the fibers of this paper. I want the edge to look old and beat up. And you do that by just folding and working on the paper. This part is important that you spend time here. And there, that looks like an old piece of paper to me. And now we're gonna do one better. Okay, so now you wanna take an ink. You can either do like an early espresso, which is a deep brown, or I'm going to use soft suede. And an ink dauber. I'm just gonna ink around the edges a little bit. I don't want very much ink on here, just enough to give it an aged look. And if you go real gently across the top, you can get those words. Look at that, look how cool that looks. Okay, so I have an aged looking piece of paper that is going to be the background of my Shabby Chic card. I'm gonna go ahead and put that guy down. Don't skimp on your adhesive here. You want to make sure this guy's going to stick really well to your card base. And then I'm still working on these edges. I want them to kind of curl up a little bit. Okay, there's my card base. Now for the fun part, we're going to use the black ice technique. If you've never done this before, it does take a little bit of practice and some getting used to. But you're gonna need a piece of paper where you can work on so you don't get anything messy. You're going to need Versamark ink, which is a clear watermark ink. You're gonna need your Stays On, which is a permanent black ink. I am going to be using my piercing mat for stamping into to make sure I get a good image. I would like to try this with the Stamparatus sometime. I think that would be another good way to do it. And this is the stamp we're using, this big flower bundle out of Ornate Style. Perfect for what we're doing. I'm using the E block, which is just probably too small by just a tiny bit, but I'm going to make it work. And you're going to need a heat gun. Wherever you want to put your image here, it doesn't really matter. maybe more towards the top than the bottom. Just commit. Once you decide where you're stamping with the StazOn, it will slide if you're not careful on this paper or a lot of papers. So you just want to make a decision that that's where you're stamping and go with it. And I'm spending time here. I want to make sure the ink is going to transfer everywhere. If you pull up too quick, this is a very sticky ink, and sometimes you won't get a very good impression. Yay, perfect. That looks good. I'll give you another tip while we're here. The StazOn ink pad comes with a little piece that covers the pad that helps keep it, I guess, keeps it juicy basically, keeps it fresh. So I will put a glue dot inside of the lid so that when I put that lid on that first time, it will attach to that little plastic piece. And now it's always going to have a tight fit. And that keeps my ink, gives it longevity. I'm not re-inking this pad all the time. Now I did re-ink this pad for this project because you do need a very inky pad. So here's the next part. This part's a little scary, but I'll give you a tip. Once again, you're just going to commit. We are going to take this black ink pad and we are going to drag it across the entire image that we just stamped. You're going to start with more pressure towards the top, and then you're really going to let up on pressure over your image, and then you're going to do more pressure at the bottom so that you get this look at the top and at the bottom, the black ink, and probably a little bit less pressure here than I did on this image here. And for good measure, we're going to hit this with the heat gun first. That way we know for sure that our image is dry. We'll let that cool for a minute. And we'll try my hand at black ice. It looks like I'm going to make about 2 passes, but you don't want to stop. Once you start dragging, just go all the way, because if you stop, you're going to get a line in the middle of your card and you're going to be unhappy. So here we go. Pressure at the top. I'm letting go. Pressure at the bottom. I almost let go too much. I'm going to try again. Let's see how we do if I do it again. Okay, other side. Try really hard to keep your fingers out of this. There we go. And that's it. It does take some practice to get this technique down. I'm going to hit it with my heat gun again. Now another tip that you can do is if you were to take a little bit of adhesive, a removable adhesive, or do it on your shirt, your sweater, and put it down on this back piece first. That way you don't have to worry about using your fingers, you don't have to worry about this piece moving. And I'm going to stamp another one just for good measure, and I'll do it that way so you guys can see that. Okay, let's do another one. We'll see which one we like better. I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive. I don't want it to be super sticky. I just want it to stay down while I'm working. See if we can get another good image. I'm more towards the top than the bottom, just because of what I'm going to do to the card here in a little bit. Good pressure. I'm not wiggling. I don't want it to slide. I'm just putting good pressure everywhere. All right, another good image. Love it when that happens. All right, so I am stuck to the piece of paper back behind. In theory, it should not move as we drag our ink pad across. Pressure, less pressure, pressure. Let's try again. Pressure, less pressure, pressure. Whew, got a lot of black on that one. So I'll probably make up a whole bunch of these and then pick the ones that I like the best. We're gonna cover up with a whole bunch of other little pretty things, so if it's not perfect, it won't matter. Set this one with the heat gun. All right. We've got our two pieces now that we can work with. No, I forgot to use my stamping pad. Ooh, I got lucky. If you use this behind, underneath your paper, so here's your pierce mat, here's your piece of paper, and stamp into it, it gives you some cushion. That's what I got it out for. I forgot that I had it out. We got lucky. We did good that time. Okay. The next step and the final step for the black ice is we are going to, actually we need this out again. We're going to use the other ink pad, your Versamark, and it's dry now. And we're gonna cover the entire thing in Versamark, and then we're going to cover the entire thing in clear Stampin' embossing powder. Still, I need to put more adhesive on the back. Okay. Now I use coffee filters whenever I am doing embossing. It catches all of the embossed powder and I can pour it back in. It has nice ridges to allow me to pour it back in. And just pour it on. Pour it back in. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. Then we'll have two to emboss. It's dry. Our Versamark ink pad. You really don't want to get my fingerprints on here. We have 2 to work with. And now we're just going to hit it with the heat gun just until melted. You can burn this, so be very careful that 1, you don't burn yourself. You accidentally turn it towards yourself, and 2, you don't burn through your paper. Just until you see it turn, and I'll show you what I mean. It's like magic. If you do too much, it will actually start to bubble up. You'll know that you're doing too much. And that's just gonna cool. We'll do our other one. Okay, we've got our 2 beautiful pieces done. Okay, these 2 pieces are done. We're just gonna mount them on black cardstock. See, that technique's not too daunting once you know how to do it. Such a cool look. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. And messy. So I'm the Moonlight Crafter, you guys know. It's the middle of the night right now. It's midnight. My kids are sleeping and it's raining and I'm crafting. I'm in my happy place, spending time with you. There we go. Okay, it's coming together. We've got our card base. We've got our black ice flowers. Now I used the Ornate Borders dies. And I used this one here, and you also use this piece with a piece of black. Like I said, all the measurements are on my website, and when you do that and you run that through your Big Shot, you get this beautiful piece here with, looks like 3 roses. And we're just gonna tuck that behind here. Okay. We're just gonna tuck this guy behind here, and I'm just going to use Scotch tape on the back side. I get it where I want it, and I'm just gonna Scotch tape it to the back. Crooked. Just wanted to peek out. There we go. Okay, this card has a lot to it at this point, so definitely do not skimp on your adhesives, you want to make sure that it's going to stick to this piece here. Maybe even use a little Tombow Mono liquid glue. I think this will be okay though. And I'm moving it more to the left. I want to show off some of the script. So you could center it if you wanted to. You could move it more to the right. I wanted it more to the left. It just shows a teeny bit of the Very Vanilla over here and shows some of my script. Last, we're gonna make a sentiment. And I used Good Morning Magnolia, another wonderful set, and that's where I got the Journey of Life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together. And then I also used, I just got this today, the Ornate Frames dies. I'm going to use this fancy one here. I thought it would be really cute to have this piece just go behind. It's a little too small for my sentiment, but I still think it'll be really cute just with some of the frillies back behind. And so when you cut that one out, it gives you this piece here. Pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Yeah, I think this actually came with a Halloween set, but I saw all of these fancy just frames. Had to have them. Had to have them. Okay, so I'm going to take my strips, my scraps, and like I said, the measurements are on the website. And I'm going to stamp this in Versamark again because I'm going to use gold embossing powder to match my gold background. I am going to stamp in the middle of this, and I'll show you why in a minute. And I just use a little paintbrush to clean off any excess, but it's best to use your embossing buddy, which I seem to forget. When you don't use it, you get stray pieces everywhere that do not make you happy. But it turned out pretty good. Let's do another one just for good measure. While we're here, we'll do two. I find that when I take a pencil or my bone folder and kind of tap, that's the best way that I've gotten off. I don't like flicking the back. I feel like I lose a lot of the image and I don't want to do that. I just want the excess to come off. I'm not a perfectionist. use our heat gun again. Using our heat gun a lot today. And I'm going to show you another trick. Before I do that, another trick, another tip is when you are heat embossing anything that are small print or small words, specifically words, it is best to go straight on, because just a little bit, when you are melting these powders, it goes the direction of the heat gun. It's going this way, and that will just distort your words just enough. So if you can come straight on and straight down, your words will be a lot clearer. I hope that tip helps you. Make sure you get it all. There's no powder left over that's not melted. Okay, now another tip for you. We're just got all kinds of tips today. I should call this tips and tricks video. I really wanted to use a punch, and this is the Pretty Label punch, but it's too small. It won't fit in there. So somebody I saw did this. You're gonna take your long piece of paper and you're gonna just insert one side into your punch. And it can be a little tricky sometimes getting it in there. Try the other side. Then you can make it whatever length you want. Look at that. Now you can use all of your punches for your longer sentiments. Now normally, the Pretty Label punch is only this long. It doesn't even look like the Pretty Label punch when we get done with it. It looks like a completely different shape. And then we're gonna layer it back behind with this piece. Now you can leave it just like this, or you can take your dauber again and you can kind of ink this guy up a little bit. It'll look good either way. Just be very gentle. This is a very delicate die. Easy to cut out, by the way. Very impressed with it. I ran it through my Big Shot a couple of times, flipped the plate, ran it through again, and every single piece fell out. Just fell right out. This is a very intricate die. Go Stampin' Up! You guys rock. Okay. That piece is going to go behind here. Just to give it some interest, and then we're going to pop this guy up with our dimensionals. Again, never want to skimp on your dimensionals. You want this to look a very nice card. And I have, mine is a little bit more to the right. My sentiment is off to the right. You could center it again, you could put it wherever you want, it's gonna look fine, but I wanted it off to the right. And then I'm gonna use my gilded gems, the small ones, on the ends. And we're there. This card is absolutely stunning. Make sure those are lined up correctly to each other. Here we go. The journey of life is best shared with a friend. We'll get through this together. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope you got some new tips and tricks. Please add that Ornate Garden Suite to your wish list. If you don't have a demonstrator already, I would love to be yours. Please hit the subscribe button and give a like to this video. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.